Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about the Eastern Conference Semifinals series between the Indiana Pacers and Cleveland Cavaliers and the Western Conference Semifinal series between the Denver Nuggets and the OKC Thunder. So last night we could go. I was saying that we could go about this many different ways, but one thing that I want to do is first, before I congratulate the Indiana Pacers, I want to focus on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers regular season, they ended the season 64 and 18. 64 and 18, they had three such winning streaks of 15 games or more, and their defense was better. Their defense, no, I'm not even going to say that their defense was better, but their defense was stagnant. It was. Their defense was stagnant, and also, there's one thing that I have to say is that I'm going to get into Donovan Mitchell a little bit later. I will. I will get into Donovan Mitchell a little bit later. But what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done, I've been saying that for over the last 2 years. Cleveland is a regular season team. When they get to the playoffs and when the rubber meets the road and they have pressure packed moments and they need to deliver under the pressure, they crumble under pressure like a cookie. That's exactly what the Cavaliers did last night, and which also leads into my second point. Donovan Mitchell. Now, last night, everybody knows I like Donovan Mitchell as a player. He's been to the playoffs every year in his career. He hasn't been past the second round at all. So when I look at this, it's a matter of, okay, you've been in the playoffs every year of your career, 8 years, but it has been a matter of, there are some teams that are better than just than his team, and then there are other teams that are pretty much inferior. But when it comes to playing Donovan Mitchell, his teams, it's basically he's been a one man show throughout his playoff outings. And one thing I can say about the Cleveland Cavaliers, we all know that this year was a one off. It was. They will not have another season where they win 60 plus games. Next season, even though that most of these players are under contract, they will not be the same like they were this year. They won't be. Now, I'm gonna say over the past 12 to 16 hours, people have been people have been comparing the Cavaliers, this year's Cavaliers team, to the 2014-15 Atlanta Hawks. That also was top notch in the East, but when it got to the playoffs, it was all she wrote. They didn't make it out of the playoffs. They didn't even make it to the NBA Finals. And the Cavaliers, they got knocked out of the second round. Now, one thing I can say about the Cavaliers, throughout that they've just been an average team. An average team to an above average team, because you can see, I'm going to start off with their scores. Evan Mobley, 24 points. Jared Allen, I said that he would struggle this series, and he did. Jared Allen, 9 points. Darius Garland, 11 points. Donovan Mitchell, 35 points. Max Strus, 0 points in 26 minutes. That is not good at all. Cavaliers bench production: Dean Wade, 4 points. DeAndre Hunter, 12 points. Isaiah Orko, 2 points. Ty Jerome, 8 points. Now, Cavaliers, all you Cavalier fans out there, y'all exceeded everybody's expectations for this year, but y'all did it in a losing effort. Now let me shift on over to the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers are headed back to the Eastern Conference Finals for back to back years and for only the third time this millennium. Since 2000, the Indiana Pacers have only been to the Eastern Conference Finals just three times: 2004, 2024, and also right now 2025. So now, when we look at the Indiana Pacers, we know that they are led by Tyrese Halliburton, by which by NBA executives and people who voted on who is the most overrated player in the NBA, they said Tyrese Halliburton. But I look at his statistics. The brother can ball. I mean, last night 31 points, and let me tell you, he doesn't need to have a signature game every game because everybody else on the team, they can come out and put up 10 to 12 points. Pascal Siakam, he is another valuable player to the Pacers. He had 21 points. Aaron Naismith had 13 points. Miles Turner had 10 points. Andrew Nabar had 18. And Tyrese Halliburton had 31 for the Indiana Pacers starters. Obi Toppin, bench production for the Pacers. Obi Toppin had 5 points. Jarius Walker had 0 points. Thomas Bryant, 9 points. TJ McConnell, 0 points. Benedict Mathurin, 4 points. Ben Shepherd, 3 points. Now, I know not a lot of people know this, but Indiana is the first team in NBA history to be a fourth seed or lower to make it to the conference finals in back to back years. No other team has done that. So that's a little bit of history for everybody that is in the audience this morning. That is so. Indiana Pacers, they are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the winner of the Celtics New York Knicks series. Now, last night, well, mainly yesterday, I heard that Jason Tatum, he has a ruptured Achilles tendon and he will be out for a significant period of time. The earliest that Jason Tatum may be back is February. That is what I'm hearing from my sources. February is the earliest that Jason Tatum will be back. But like I said, Kevin Durant, he had the same kind of injury and he came back 2 months before his estimated time of coming back to play. So all prayers up for Jason Tatum. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery and he comes back sooner rather than later. Now back to the Pacers. Pacers, they have a good matchup. They are going to be a good matchup for whoever they play. New York, they didn't beat Indiana in the regular season. Boston, now Boston, they are on their last leg right now, and Jason Tatum is out for the rest of the season. Now the onus is on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, he needs to have a game, and I do mean the type of game where he is worth those $345 million that contract that he signed. When I'm saying having a signature game, Jaylen Brown signature game, I'm talking along the lines of 37 points, 12 assists, and possibly 10 rebounds. That is the kind of performance that Jaylen Brown needs to force this series back to New York for a game 6. Now, let me tell you, if the Celtics win game 5, it's going to be a whole lot of pressure on the Knicks to close out the Celtics in game 6. Now, if the Celtics win game 6, man, that is going to be something because the Celtics would have pretty much turned the series on its head, and they have a game 7 winner take all back in Boston Garden. Well, excuse me, not Boston Garden, but TD Garden. I'm showing some of my history there, but TD Garden. But we have to look at where the series is at now. Right now, the series is 3-1. Game 5 is tonight. Let's see if the Boston Celtics can save their season for another game. But I think that I said last night after the Pacers won over the Cavaliers, the Eastern Conference Finals is set. Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks. And does anybody feel like that this matchup is turning back time a little bit, turning back to the early 90s where it was the Knicks and Pacers? It seemed like almost every year in the 90s, whether it was the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, it's starting to feel like that. But one thing I can say is that if I had to, now I'm not going to make my prediction yet, but if I had to make my prediction right now for the Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks and the Pacers, I would go with the Pacers because the Pacers, they have a plethora of players that can shoot the air out of the ball with alarming efficiency. You have Pascal Siakam, he can score 20 to 25 points. You have Aaron Naismith who can score 20 to 25 points. The Pacers, I'm going to say this for the Pacers. The Pacers have 11 players that can score at least 20 points in a game if they had to. A game if they had to. The New York Knicks, outside of their starting five, they don't have many scores. So I expect the Pacers to pretty much take control of this series and really, if not make it a sweep, make it a gentleman's sweep. Because I don't see the New York Knicks. I don't see the New York Knicks winning over the Pacers. All you New York Knicks fans out there, especially Stephen A. Smith, I know y'all happy right now, but the series with the Celtics is not over yet. So don't get too happy now. Don't get too happy because even though the Celtics are a wounded dog, the wounded dog is still moving. The Celtics, their season is still alive. So y'all still got the focus. Still got the focus. So now the next game I'm going to cover is the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, Denver, I've said this about Denver throughout the regular season. Denver, my trepidation with them is their bench production. And that was on display last night, and it has been on display all season. Aaron Gordon, 13 points. Michael Porter Jr. only had 2 points in 29 minutes. That's bad. Nikola Jokic, 44 points. Jamal Murray, 28 points. Christian Braun, 8 points. That is bad right there. That is totally bad because you have Nikola Jokic. He played 44 minutes and scored 44 points. He was scoring a point every minute. Jamal Murray, he hasn't had one of his signature games yet, but he had a good game last night, scoring 28 points. Christian Braun, he had 8 points. And bench production for the Knicks, Peyton Watson, 3 points. Russell Westbrook, 4 points. Julian Swather, 3 points. Now, Denver Nuggets. Head coaching is bad. They don't even have, now they have a person that is filling the head coaching role, but they haven't given him the head coaching title on his name yet. So if I'm the Denver Nuggets, they still got business that they need to get taken care of as far as who is going to be their head coach going into next season, and also seeing if they have more players for later rounds, like if they do make it to the Western Conference Finals, which it's not totally a guarantee because the OKC Thunder, they took the series lead last night. And Nikola Jokic, at times he looked tired last night. I'm just gonna say that. America, you heard it here first. At times, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray looked like they were tired last night. You had Nikola Jokic go 17 of 25. Then you had Jamal Murray go 10 of 27. The Denver Nuggets need to address their deficiencies on the bench this offseason. Now, I'm not saying that they are going to lose this series, although I picked OKC to win in 6, possibly 7. I expected this series to go exactly the way it's going. But the Denver Nuggets, they have more organizational problems than that meets the eye. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, balance across the board, like I always say, with their starting five. Chet Holmgren, 14 points. Jalen Williams, 18 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 15 points. Shea Gillis Alexander, 31 points. Lugaz Dort, 12 points. Bench production for the Thunder: Jalen Williams, 2 points. Alex Caruso, 13 points. Isaiah Joe, 0 points. Aaron Wiggins, 3 points. Cason Wallace, 4 points. OKC, you are in the driver's seat. You experienced some adversity after game 2 and after game 4. Now, let's see if you can shut the door on the Denver Nuggets season and send them back to, well, game 6. Game 6 is in Mile High. So if they win in Mile High, if the OKC Thunder win in Mile High, the Denver Nuggets stay home. So what OKC have to do, if I'm the head coach of the Thunder, I'm telling my guys, hey guys, we only bring in one suitcase because we are going to finish out this series in the Mile High City and keep the Denver Nuggets home. That is exactly what I would be saying. Now, the statistics for last night pretty much went either way for the first 3 quarters, but the fourth quarter, OKC Thunder, they pretty much took it from the Denver Nuggets, because you can see total rebounds +6 for the Denver Nuggets. But there was one thing that caught my eye: total turnovers. Total turnovers. The Nuggets had 16 and the Oklahoma City Thunder had 14. Now that both teams had a bad case of turnover lighters. But what I'm going to say is OKC, still a young team. Not even 3 years ago they was at the bottom of the NBA. Now they are on the cusp of making it to the Western Conference Finals for only the third time, and I do mean the third time in the last 12 years. So when we look at the OKC Thunder, we see a young team that has experienced adversity along the way a little bit. But let's see if OKC can dig their way back from, a 2-0 hold or something like that. But the way that the Thunder, they have an efficient roster. Everybody averages, let me tell you, outside of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, everybody else on the Thunder team averages 15 points. And let me tell you, their plus minus is crazy in this series. And I don't even know how this series has gotten to a game 5, because I'm looking at the statistics right here on my piece of paper, where Thunder in game 1, they were plus 45 in plus minus. Game 2, the Thunder plus 37. Game 3, the Thunder plus 25. Game 4, Thunder plus 29. Game 5, last night, they were plus 39. How is this still a series? Now, if this was any other series, it would have already been over with in a sweep. But I think the Denver Nuggets, what they have done in the games that they've won, they've mucked up the game, made it look ugly, tried to keep the game close, and they have. They kept both games that the Nuggets have won. It has been close throughout, and they went on to win both games. Now, can they win Game 6 and Game 7 on the Thunder home floor? We will. That remains to be seen, and we will see. Now, Game 6 is tomorrow, Thursday night. Now, that's all I have for the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, tonight, tonight, the schedule for the NBA is the New York Knicks and Boston Celtics. Also, the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks, they have a chance to close out Boston in Boston at home. Do they do it? Personally, I don't think so. I think the Celtics they will win game 5, and I think the Knicks they will come back home and win game 6. If the Knicks lose game 6, then they've lost the series there, because I don't think in my heart of hearts that the Knicks are going to win a game 7 in Boston. I just don't think that. And for the Warriors and Timberwolves, tonight, I believe the Timberwolves are going to take this tonight. Because, and according to right now, ESPN bet at 10:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, May 14th, the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently 11.5-point favorites in tonight's Game 5 game between the Warriors. And for Boston, they are a 4.5-point favorite tonight versus the New York Knicks. I know all you New York Knicks fans out there right now are on pins and needles. And let me tell you, I know how Stephen A. Smith feeling right now. I know how all y'all feeling. Y'all saying that y'all want the series to be over with tonight. But remember, Boston Celtics, they have Jaylen Brown. And I think Jaylen Brown is going to have a signature performance tonight with a capital S. He has to be a scorer and a facilitator. And when the game first starts, the first 5 minutes is critical for the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown, he's got to come out aggressive, throwing haymakers, throwing the kitchen sink at the New York Knicks, saying that if we're going to go down, we ain't going to go down without a fight. That's what I expect from the Boston Celtics tonight, and I expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to handily pretty much eliminate the Golden State Warriors, because Steph Curry, he ain't coming back for game 6, because that series is going to be over tonight. That's what that series is. And you already hear Anthony Edwards. Now, I love Anthony Edwards. He is very confident. But everybody is saying now that Anthony Edwards is arrogant. Don't let confidence become arrogant. And I'm saying this to the haters. The haters, they don't know what confidence and arrogance is, because somebody can be confident in their abilities when they play basketball or whatever they do, and it could be in business too. Somebody can be so confident in their abilities to where they already know what they got to do. They don't even have to look at A, B, C, and D. And that's what Anthony Edwards is looking at. He don't have to look at the game plan. He don't have to look at A, B, C, and D. He just know that he needs to have a good game and go out there and dominate the Warriors like he been doing the first 4 games of this series. That's all. And with that, those are my reactions to last night's games between the Indiana Pacers Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma City Thunder, and my predictions for tonight's games between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Also, the Warriors and Timberwolves. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Also, we are doing an expansion right here on YouTube. And let me tell y'all something. Tonight, y'all might have to turn y'all TV. Y'all might have to switch it from different channels because the NFL schedule release is tonight. And you know what? While I'm talking about it, I'm going to go ahead and leak out some games from y'all. So what I got from my sources is for on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that the Cowboys will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles on opening night. The London game for week 7 is the Los Angeles Rams and Jacksonville Jaguars, their first big game. And the Kansas City Jacksonville Jaguars will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs in week 10. These are just some of the schedule. These are just some of the games that have been leaked. Also, week 16 and 17, that is division rival week. One is the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears. The other one is the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, that's all that I can tell you all right now. Please watch out for the NFL schedule release, which comes on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everybody, please keep your phones next to you. Please keep a watchful eye for 8 o'clock. And one last thing, the key is always on time.